Hello everyone. Now we will see few questions that were asked in GATE 2019 afternoon session. Previously we have seen questions from forenoon session. Now we will discuss afternoon session questions from geotechnical engineering. This is a direct question. An earthen dam of height h is made of cohesive soil whose cohesion and unit weight are C and gamma respectively. If the factor of safety against cohesion is Fc, the Taylor stability number Sn is given by, so Taylor stability number Sn is generally represented as C by Fc into gamma h. Right? So the option C is correct. So now we quickly move on to the second question. The notation SC as per Indian Standard Soil Classification System refers to, so in Indian Standard Soil Classification System, S indicates the noun or the major soil type and the second letter indicates the adjective or the second major soil type. So here S indicates sand and C mentions clay. So it's a sand which has a clay content. So it's a clayey sand. So C is an adjective as I told you. So clayey sand is the answer. So D is the answer. Now we move on to the next question. An anisotropic soil deposit has coefficient of permeability in vertical and horizontal directions as Kz and Kx respectively. For constructing a flow net, the horizontal dimension of the problem's geometry is transformed by a multiplying factors. So here we use a multiplying factor Kz by Kx when the permeability of the soil is different in horizontal and vertical direction so as to construct a flow net. So this is also again a direct question. The option is A. Kz by K. So next is the problem based on consolidation settlement. Construction of a new building founded on a clayey soil was completed in January 2010. In January 2014, the average consolidation settlement of the foundation in clay was recorded as 10 mm. The ultimate consolidation settlement was estimated in design as 40 mm. Considering double drainage to occur at the clayey soil site, the expected consolidation settlement in January 2019 is how much they were asking. See, first, they have mentioned how much amount of consolidation has happened at the end of 4 years, and they have mentioned even the ultimate consolidation settlement also. So, using these two, we can find out how much is the degree of consolidation at the end of 2014, and they are asking you how much would be the consolidation settlement at the end of 2019. Okay, so now first we will see how much is the degree of consolidation at the end on January 2014. So U percentage at the end of 4 years is equal to settlement happened up to Jan 2014. So settlement up to 4 years divided by ultimate settlement. Right? So 10 by 40 into, if you need it in percentage, so you will get 25 percentage of consolidation has over by 2014. So whenever a consolidation up to n number of years is given, and if they are asking you to find out after a few period of time, you have to remember two formulae that relates time factor. So for finding out time factor, you should know two formulae. So the one is TV is equal to CVT by D square. And another formula in terms of degree of consolidation is TV is equal to pi by 4 u square, where you have to substitute u in terms of fraction. So this formula is applicable up to 60% degree of consolidation. So using this formula, find out time factor, and from this time factor you can find out how much is Cv by t square is. Okay. So if you substitute u value here, then you will get pi by 4.25 whole square gives you 0.049. So just substitute this value into your CVT by d square equation. So 0.049 is equal to CV. Time is 4 years. So substitute 4 directly here divided by d square. That gives you ultimately CV by d square is equal to 0.01225, right? So now you found out CV by d square. So since you are going to calculate the consolidation settlement at the same clayey soil site, CV by d square will not at all change. So retain it as such. Now find out how much is the time factor at the end of 9 years. So TV is equal to CV by d square. So time factor at the end of 9 years, right? So your time is 9 years. So into 9, which gives you 0.01225, which is CV by d square's value, into 9, that fetches you 0.11044, right? So now you have calculated time factor, TV values. So using this TV, at the end of 9 years, how much is the degree of consolidation you are supposed to find out. So for that, once again go back to this formula. That gives you 0.11444 is equal to pi by 4 u square, you don't know, so u square, retain it as such. So when you bring this 4 by pi to this left hand side and take a root, you will get u is equal to 0.37.49 in terms of percentage. Actually you will get u in terms of fraction. Once you multiply it with 100, then you will get it in terms of percentage. So 37.49 percentage of consolidation has happened at the end of 9 years. Now you need to know how much is the settlement corresponding to this amount of consolidation. So for that sake, so your degree of consolidation at the end of 9 years is equal to 37.49, which is actually equal to the settlement happened up to 9 years. So settlement up to 9 years divided by ultimate settlement into 100, right? So let us take this as x. Okay. So x by ultimate settlement is 40 mm into 100 is equal to 37.49. So that implies your x is equal to almost around 14.99 mm. Okay. So which is almost equal to 15 mm, because they are asking you to report to the nearest integer value. So the answer is 15 mm, right? Next question is from subsoil exploration. The dimension of a soil sampler are given in the table. So they have mentioned the inside diameter, outside diameter at the cutting edge and at the sampling tube. For this sampler, how much is the outside clearance ratio they were asking? It's just a direct question. So for outside clearance ratio, But you have to be careful here. They are asking you to report the value in terms of percentage. Okay. So for outside clearance, so the formula is diameter of your cutting edge, that too on the outside, minus diameter of the sampling tube or sampler. Okay. That too on the outer side, divided by D of sampling tube on the outer side into 100 you have to consider. So if you consider only the outside diameter, so 100 minus 90 divided by 90 into 100 gives you 11.11%. Right? It's a simple question. Let's move on to the next question from vertical stress. A 2 by 4 meter rectangular footing has to carry uniformly distributed load of 120 kilopascal. As per 2:1 distribution method, the stress distribution, the increment in vertical stress at a depth of 2 meter below the footing is how much? See, whenever you go to deeper and deeper layer, the intensity of vertical stress decreases, right? Because the load got distributed to wider area, and they mentioned here the load distribution mechanism is following 2:1 dispersion method, means 2 vertical to 1 horizontal distribution method. Suppose if you consider this as the surface, and if you go up to so this is the ground surface, okay, and here is your footing, and if you go up to a depth of 2 meter, so let me change the color. So I'll go by a depth of 2 meter. Then the load distribution occurs. So 2:1 distribution. So I have gone to a depth of 2 meter. So the load spreads by a horizontal distance of 1 meter. Okay. So that is what 2:1 distribution. So actually at the surface the load is acting only at this place. Okay. So here alone your 120 kPa load is actually acting. Okay. So this is your 120 kPa load. So after 2 meter it follows a 2:1 distribution. So this is how your load might have spread, and it will be acting throughout this area. So suppose if you consider this as the 4 meter side, because 2 by 4 meter. So this, if this is the 4 meter side, so here it will be 4 meter. So here it is again 4 meter, and here 1 meter and 1 meter. So totally 6 meter. So this is on the 4 meter side. So what happens on the 2 meter side? So other way, the dimension of this footing will be 2 meter, right? So 2 meter, there also such kind of distribution has happened. So actually if you ask me to draw in a 3D view, it will be like this. So your load distribution might have happened like this. Okay. So here it is acting for a 2 by 4 meter area, whereas here this load distribution has happened over an area of, so 4 by 6 meters, because this way plus 2 1 plus 1 2 meters, and also this way 1 plus 1 2 meters. So this way it's 6 meter, whereas this way it is 4 meter. Okay. So how much is the load actually acting over here? This is load intensity. So the load acting on this area is 120 into 8, which gives you 960 kilonewton. So this load is acting at the same load is acting over an area of 4 by 6 meter at the depth of 2 meters. So this intensity at this level is, or vertical stress increment at this level is 960 divided by 24. So that gives you the load incremental load, your delta sigma as 40 kilopascal. Okay, so just make a note of it. Because of the spreading of load or distribution of the load at deeper layers, the load intensity has actually reduced. So at the surface it is 120 kPa, whereas at 2 meter depth it is just 40 kilopascal. Okay, so now we move on to the next question. A constant head permeability test were performed on two soil samples S1 and S2. The ratio of height of the two specimens are LS1, LS2 is 1.5 and the ratio of their diameters are 0.5 and the ratio of the constant head applied to the specimen is 2. If the discharge for both the specimen is equal, the ratio of their permeability is being asked. So here, for my convenience, let me take, instead of S1 and S2, I will take 1 and 2. So this is L1, L2, D1, D2 and this is H1, H2 and this as K1 and K2. So for calculating the permeability, we know the formula. They are actually asking you to find out the ratio of their permeability. So K1 by K2 is asked. So for calculating the permeability, the formula is QL by AH. So K is equal to QL by AH, where Q is the discharge, L is the length of the sample, A is the area of cross section and H is the head. So let me take the discharge is same on both the specimens. So Q remains same, whereas this is L1 for the first sample and here area is mentioned. So which becomes pi by 4 d square. So let me take it as d1 square into, this is h1, right? So h1 divided by discharge is same. So Q again divided by L2 pi by 4 d2 square into h2. So now you will get this pi by 4 and this pi by 4 will get cancelled and Q will get cancelled. So you will have L1 divided by L2 and again in the denominator H1 divided by H2 is there. The same way D1 by D2 the whole square is there, right? So what is L1 by L2? From the question you can see it is just 1.5 and D1 by D2 is 0.5. So it's 0.5 square into what is H1 by H2? So H1 by H2 is 2 again. So if you multiply them, you will get 3. So ratio of their permeability is 3. Right? So now we move on to the next question. A timber pile of length 8 meter and diameter 0.2 meter is driven with 20 kilonewton drop hammer falling freely from a height of 1.5 meter. The total penetration of pile in the last 5 blows is 40 mm. Use engineering news record expression, assume factor of safety of 6 and empirical factors allowing reduction in the theoretical set due to energy losses of 2.5 centimeter. The safe load carrying capacity of the pile in terms of kilonewton, which is rounded off to 2 decimal places, is how much they were asking. So here they are asking you to report the safe load carrying capacity of pile using dynamic formulae, and that too they mentioned it you to use engineering news record expression. So what is the formula? So for calculating the ultimate load carrying capacity QU, the formula is WH neta H divided by S plus C, where W is the weight of drop hammer and H is the height of fall and neta is the efficiency. Since they did not specify anything, just take it. And what is S? S is actually how much amount of penetration that has happened for last 5 blows. Okay, so penetration per blow. And C, the correction factor, which they have mentioned it as 2.5 centimeter. So just directly substitute the values in the formula. So 20 into your height of fall is 1.5. So let me substitute everything in terms of centimeter. So that will be easy. So into 100 divided by, it is 40 mm. So take it as 4 centimeter. So 4 penetration per blow. So 4 by 4. So for 5 blows, the penetration is 40 mm. So 4 by 5 plus 2.5 is again in terms of centimeter. So no issues. So if you multiply, you will get the ultimate load that could be applied on the pile as 909 kilonewton. So what is the safe load then? So they are asking you to maintain a factor of safety of 6. So 909 divided by 6 gives you the value as 151.51 kilonewton. Okay. So now we move on to the next question, which is from bearing capacity. A square footing of 2-meter sides rests on the surface of homogeneous soil bed having so-and-so properties. C is equal to 24 kPa, angle of internal friction as phi equal to 25 degrees, and unit weight gamma is equal to 18 kilonewton per meter cube. Tersaghi's bearing capacity factor for phi is equal to 25 degree or NC is equal to 25.1, NQ equal to 12.7, and gamma equal to 9.7, and NC dash, NQ dash, and gamma dash are also mentioned. The ultimate bearing capacity of the foundation is how much they were asking you, right? So here they have reported two set of bearing capacity factor. So which one are you supposed to use? See, when your phi value is less than 28 degrees, then local shear failure will occur. Then you have to reduce C to the 2/3 of its value. So your C is equal to 2/3 of the C which is mentioned. So let us take this C as C dash. So 2/3 of C is 2 by 3 of 24, which gives you 16 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, and you are supposed to use the bearing capacity factor corresponding to local shear failure. So use NQ dash and N gamma dash. So your bearing capacity equation itself is QU is equal to 1.3 CNC plus gamma D NQ. See, here they are mentioning it as the footing is resting on the surface. So D is 0. So the second term gamma D is 0. So the second term is 0. So 0.5. Here it is square footing. So you are not supposed to use 0.5. 0.5 is for strip footing. So 0.4. B gamma N gamma dash you are supposed to use. Here also NC dash you need to use. So everything corresponds to local shear failure criteria. So 1.3 into 16 into 14.8, right? So NC dash plus zero point 0.4, your B value is 2 meter. Width of sides of your footing is 2. And gamma is again 18 and N gamma dash is 3.2. That gives you your ultimate bearing capacity as 353.92, which is nothing but. So they are asking you to round off to 2 decimal places. So just retain it as such. So 353.92 kilonewton per meter square. That's it. Okay. So thank you. That's it for the day.